Hello, I want to start by saying that I had a strike on my channel and I wasn't able to upload videos. It was the video called the George Floyd event. Why was the George Floyd event used to shut down the heart and crown chakra? And somebody, I guess from YouTube or somebody watched the video and felt like it was harassment and decided to put a strike on the video. And we'll take it down and put a strike on the channel. So I wasn't allowed to do uploads, you know. Anyway, so of course, this platform has a problem with anything that could be questioning. They don't like you questioning anything. But you know what? I don't even really. Let me tell you why I'm not going to really get upset about it. You know what I get upset about? I get upset more with myself than I do with them because I wonder what can I do about it. Okay, this is how they are. So what can I do about it to make sure I'm not caught in their crap? So I'm not even upset with them. They are who they are, and we're in a specific type of matrix that a lot of people don't understand what it is, but they understand what it is, right? And so it's probably the more of a reason to get upset is more out of ignorance, because if you really knew what it was, you would know they can't be any different. That they don't have the capacity to be anything better than what they are, But here's what I want to say though. I just wanted to get that part out the way. Here's what I want to say. Some people are in karmic patterns. A lot of things that you have done that you're doing right now, you have already done before. And you keep getting an extra chance and an extra chance and an extra chance to see if you're going to make a different decision. But at the same time, you got to remember the decision that you made before. So you have to remember that you've already done this before, and remember the decision that you made before and what was the consequence of that decision. The fact that you have to do it all over again means that you made the wrong decision. In some cases, the decision is having too much sympathy, having too much doggone compassion for people. Some people you should not have compassion for. You should not. So, and this is coming with the heart too, because with the heart, the way people like to explain the heart and the heart chakra, whatever, in media, they make it seem like the way they explain it is like you just have to keep having compassion for everybody and everything. That's not necessarily true, because here's the thing too. Why these people that have so much compassion, they so quick to kill a fly? Because if you're gonna have compassion, you're gonna have compassion for everything. So why you have compassion for somebody who's constantly doing you harm psychologically, whatever it is? It could be physically, psychologically, mentally, spiritually. They doing damage. Each time they keep crossing you, they're hurting your soul. They're literally killing your soul. Each time they cross you, each time they do something to harm you. And you can try to protect yourself all you want to from them, or try to protect your space. If these people are in a position to get in your space, it's kind of hard to protect it. Some people are in a position to get in your space. And what I mean by that, if there's some kind of supervisor or something, and they have control, and then you can't hardly report them to anybody because the world has become more wicked. So if you try to report them, it's not going to hardly go anywhere, and then it's just going to be worse on you. And see, that comes a time where you just have to quit. But then you have to go figure out what else you're going to do for money. But you don't want to let that stop you from being healthy, though, right? But here's the issue with that. If this is a karmic pattern, maybe the situation needs to be completed. Let me just say, for some of us, if it's a karmic pattern that's happening and it's coming back around so we can make the right decision, maybe it might not be always the good idea to go look for another job that might be more peaceful, so quit and go look for another job. I mean, that's easy, but at the same time, if that type of situation, and especially if it's karmic, if it's not nipped in the bud, if that type of energy keep coming back around, especially when it's deadly, sometimes when it's really deadly, and they're in a position of some kind of authority where they can keep crossing you. And when I say crossing you, it's more than doing crazy stuff on a job. You never know what kind of spiritual work those people are doing. Don't put it past people to do spiritual work. Do not put it past people. I don't care if they Asian, if they Caucasian, if they brown, I don't care what color who they are. Do not put it past people to do spiritual work, because a lot of people are into spiritual work, even if they're not hardly any good at it. And I don't know what hardly any good at it is, because it's really about your intention and the confidence. And then they can go pay somebody else to do it too. So, so I wouldn't put it past people. But, here's what I want to say. I listened to a lady who was talking about license to kill, right? And I'm not trying to put nothing out there. But she was saying that we are moving into a new dispensation, to a new type of earth, where these people can't just keep getting away with constantly throwing jabs. Okay? And so for her, she said that her ancestors, her spiritual team told her, you now have a license, like you now have the permission. See, this is what she said from her spiritual team, because I guess it was a time where certain people couldn't always attack back. I don't know. That was what people thought. But she said that her spiritual team was like, you now have the permission. When anybody just want to attack you and you're not bothering them, when they attack you out of some jealousy, they attack you for whatever reason, or they might be attacking you because they're vulnerable to mind control, because they haven't been connected to their divine self in so long, giving power to greed or whatever they want to give power to lawyers, constantly giving energy, and constantly going along with their lower desires, and that they're vulnerable to mind control. Because if they're not hardly engaging with the heart and above, but they're mostly into their lower self, and then they're vulnerable for mind control. They're vulnerable for mind control. And so people like that, they're disconnected from a higher source anyway. Okay? And so she was saying that her spiritual team said, you now have the power, you have permission to somebody wants to put harm to you or do you harm, and you see they're attempting to do you harm, you have a right to literally take them out. You have a right to take them out, basically. And it seems like this is still a hard conversation for a lot of people to still have. Like, oh, it's so wrong. But if they're trying to kill you, why not just go in and kill them? And I don't mean to, I know this might sound bad. It sounds bad to say, but a lot of people don't play that. Okay, a lot of people don't play that. Trust me. There's so many people in the world that I know do some work on other people that I see that they might not tell me they do it, but I know they're doing it. And they just don't say stuff out loud. But it's a whole lot of folks that's doing stuff to other people. And you have some folks that just they just want to get people to leave them alone, but they don't want to kill them. But you know what? When you're in a karmic pattern, and you just want them to back off of you, you don't want to kill nobody, you just want to back off, maybe they're never going to back off. Maybe they're never going to back off. And this is where it comes, where you have to understand what the heart is used for. Because the heart is not used to have compassion for people who don't have compassion for you. The heart is not for having compassion for people who want to try to kill you. You see, they every chance they get, they want to destroy you in some kind of way. They want to make sure nobody likes you. They want to make sure you're not successful at your work or whatever you're doing. They want to make sure you're not successful. They want to make sure you don't get money. They want to make sure you're not loved. And then they're doing stuff to just take you out. You might feel like something's not right with you. Something's going on. Maybe your day might feel off, something. So they're doing other work to make sure that you die. You never know what they're doing, because they're not going to tell you that, they're not going to be bold enough to tell you that they're doing things to try to kill you. But I know people don't want to have this conversation yet. Some people don't. And that's fine, but I think we're to a point where we don't want to confuse the heart chakra, or you confuse the heart with having sympathy or any kind of compassion for people who have nothing for you. And not only do they have nothing for you, they're doing everything in their power to make sure that you don't wake up. Okay, they're doing everything in their power to make sure that you don't wake up. Okay, that's like somebody breaking in your house and they have a gun pointed to your face. And you're saying, oh, I don't want to kill you, but they about to pull that trigger, so you're going to have to do something because they got their finger on that trigger. You can't value their life like that and they ready to shoot you right in the face. Or they're ready to kill your child or something. And you keep having all this compassion for them and they ready to shoot you. And you can't be analyzing what could be going on with the person and all that stuff because honestly, people, you gotta take care of yourself. You don't have time to be somebody's shrink. Even if they not in their right mind, you still have to look out for yourself. But anyway, that's all I really gotta say. Is that this is a time for some people who are not going to be, who know they're probably going to be on when the shift is finishing. It's a shift happening right now. When it finishes, I think the shift has been going on for a long time, honestly, and this was around the time we kept saying we're going to wake ourselves up, because this is karmic. If it's karmic, it's been going on a while. The shift I think it's been going on a while. Like probably close to about 100 years that this shift. So that means the shift has been going on a long time. Probably could have been going on 1,000 years. Because in the spiritual realm, when the spiritual realm is talking about the shift, that could be 1,000 to 2,000 years. Honestly, that could be 1,000 to 2,000 years. Okay. So some of us have done this over and over and over again, and by the fact that we're in a virtual type of reality, there's always loops and stuff. So anyway, yeah. So interesting the things that I'm seeing. So interesting. If you have been a compassionate person pretty much your whole life, and not even half the people, you haven't even got, let me say this, you haven't even got half of the compassion that you show other people, you haven't even got half of that back. That means that this game is not how people say it is. It's not you got to give in order to receive. You give love, you get love. You give compassion, you get compassion. I mean, how many people really see that? That's not true. I hate it when people who are successful or whatever they are make it seem like they got that success from being good to people. No, they knew how to play the game. Somewhere along the lines, they knew how to play the game. So I hate it when they act like they got their success from just being nice and good and giving to people. Because if that was the case, I'd be a billionaire. So I hate it when they say that. Your life, the way this matrix is, your life is not necessarily determined by how you treat others. Sometimes it's a code. Okay? And it's a code. You're coded to constantly go through this, and until you change the code, then that problem keeps coming. Sometimes you change the code by trying to figure out what did you do the last time you were in this situation, because this seems to keep looping back around. So what decision did you make that has this comeback for you to do it right again, and make sure you don't make that decision again so you don't have to keep doing this again? Okay? Maybe you can change the code like that too. Okay, maybe you can change the code by saying, let me say this, I'm talking to myself right now, honestly, and I could be talking to other people. Maybe you can change your codes by saying, listen, you don't love me, I don't love you. Forget that. I see the way this matrix is working right now, and it's not the way it's not the way society wants to, the BS that society wants to put out there. You be good to people and you get it back. No, you know what? That was for the organic consciousness. We are not in an organic type of consciousness. We're in a false consciousness. That means that we are false. That means that we're false. Because we're in a different matrix. We are not in the original matrix with the organic consciousness where we have a chance to ascend in the organic matrix, right? In the organic, we're in a different matrix that's false, and there's a false consciousness. So the ascension is going to be false. And so some people are trying to work on raising their frequency, which I think frequency, it really has a lot to do with information, but it's also the body too, right? And so that you have people that want to hurt your body. You have people that want to hurt your body because they can't do nothing with the information that you gain, right? If you get information, you get information. They can't do nothing with that, but they want to try to hurt your body. But I'll get to that part later. I get the thing with the body. I'll get to that. I'll just say you don't want to be too attached to a physical body. You don't want to be too attached to a physical body. So if you're not too attached to a physical body, then they might not keep your physical body from keeping the frequencies up because you're not too attached to it anyway. Because the physical body has a lot to do with what you are attached to. And the more dense you are, has a lot to do with what you are attached to. So yeah, I heard somebody say it's not just about the information that you know, the levels of light that you keep getting because you keep getting access to more higher realms and more information. Yeah, but it's also the body has to be able to come with it too. Okay? You just can't be broken in half. But that's a trip because people want to keep hurting your body. People want to keep hurting your body. And so this is what I want to say, that the people who want to keep hurting your body, or they want to cause all kinds of... See, like I said, the people, especially if you know that you are chosen to get out of this mess, okay? You're chosen to be separated from it. Then you have some people that are literally programmed because they are vibrating so low with how they thinking and stuff. They're vibrating so low that they're vulnerable to. They can't control their thoughts. They can't control it. They're vulnerable, and so they're being used. People like that are constantly being. They're archetypes. They're archetypes because they're not connected to a higher source. Okay, so they're archetypes. Because none of us are really real, but a lot of us are somewhat aligned with our divine true self. And that's what makes us kind of real, because we're still in the false matrix. But that's what makes us more real than others who don't align at all. They're just literally just egos and archetypes. Not even real people. They look like they're real. Okay? So, it's kind of difficult to say out loud, but I mean, we're at a point where we can't give people a pass anymore. We can't have compassion for folks anymore. Or, we cannot have compassion for people who want to keep hurting us. Who want to keep doing us, like, they want to keep hurting us emotionally. Even if they're doing something like to just constantly want to put you down, I don't know, it could be something that might seem small, but at the same time, the way they're doing it is almost like it still kind of hurts the soul a little bit. Those people need to be they need to be contained. And some people need to just be taken out. Okay? Some people just need to be taken out. Okay? Especially if they're trying to hurt you. You see where they're trying to hurt you. Then it's time. There's no room for any more compassion. Okay? Because compassion is going to kill you. In this case right now, having compassion for somebody who just constantly wants to harm you, compassion is what's going to kill you. Because that's not what that is used for. That's not what the heart is used for. We're in a false matrix. We're not in the real organic matrix or the organic original matrix with the organic consciousness where the rules were more fair. The rules are not fair here. Okay, we can see that the rules are not fair. That's why people get away with doing so much. That's why you have all this sex trafficking, all these children getting kidnapped, and all these stuff like that. And you see there's no justice because the rules are not fair. It's a false matrix. It's a false matrix. There's an original matrix with the Great Mother. The original matrix is with the Great Mother. And this false matrix is really with the Father. That's the Father God, this false matrix. Okay? So anyway, it's time for me to go, but yeah, you can't have compassion for these kind of people, entities, or whatever you want to call them. You got to get to the point where you don't consider them human, because they're not. Those people are no longer human. And that's not an insult. That's not a judgment. It's just the truth. There's a certain requirement to be human because you don't really have a real physical body. You're not really made up of matter. So everybody don't get to just be called human because they might look like it. Even if they got a lot of money. But no, the rules have changed. It's really classist around here. They don't care anything about anybody. They don't care about people who are struggling. You could have been somebody who could be laying on the porch right now, struggling, or laying on a bench, struggling, and they could have been the nicest they could have been to everybody. They could have been so sweet, and they laying on a bench somewhere, and nobody cares. So that rules, that mess about you give in order to receive, that BS right there, that's a lie. That's a lie in a society, in a world where the rules are not fair. Okay? And we see a lot of crimes and a lot of heinous stuff happen, and this stuff, so it's no what you call it, justice. There's no justice. The only justice that you're going to see is when the false matrix is gone. But I wouldn't be in such a rush for the false matrix to be gone if you haven't detached from it, right? Literally detached, like don't even care. Okay, but anyway, that'll be it. Now, talk later.